In this video, I want to cover what to look for when you're shopping for a fat burner. Now, obviously I'm going to use my Shred Gym as the example because after all, I formulated Shred Gym to not only be the most effective fat burner you can buy, but also to be an educational tool on what you want to look for when you're buying a fat burner. Let's start with the label. Ignore anything on the front of the label. You know, this is where they're going to put a lot of flashy words, you know, fat loss, whatever they can get away with. But here I've just got a plain, very plain label with the amount of 3 of the critical ingredients. And that we're going to talk about amounts. That's the most critical thing when you pick up your fat burner. Don't look at the front, go right to the supplement facts panel here. You want to make sure that every single ingredient that they include in that fat burner has a dose listed for it. Otherwise, it's proprietary. And when it's a proprietary blend, it means that they're shortchanging you and not providing you enough of that ingredient. They're just putting in enough so they can list it, and you think, oh, it's got raspberry ketones. I think I heard that those were good. Oh, but I don't know how much to take, but it's got it, so I'm just going to buy it. And that's how they really prey on the consumer with these proprietary blends. As you'll see with Shred Gym, this is probably one of the first fat burners to not only be a fully dosed fat burner, but to also be a non-proprietary fat burner. This really changed the market along with Pre-Gym on the proprietary blend garbage. Now, no one is foolish enough to sell a proprietary blend because the consumer is too savvy, thanks to the education that we've been doing. Okay, now let's talk about the ingredients. What do you want in a fat burner? Well, you want to be attacking fat from a variety of angles in the body. First one is to shut your mouth. Eat less. Seriously. You need something that's going to decrease appetite, okay? You need to burn more calories. So eat less, burn more calories, okay? So you need something that's going to stimulate your metabolism. And while you've freed up that fat from those fat cells, you now have to get them into the tissue where it can be burned, or what we call oxidized, for fuel. So you need an ingredient that's going to help that excess fat that you now release from the fat cells, brought it into the blood, and get it into the tissue where it can be burned. So these are all areas that you want to be targeting fat loss from, with ingredients that are going to target these specific areas. If your fat burner doesn't hit all those areas, then you're not maximizing fat loss, okay? So let's talk about these ingredients now. First one is acetyl L-carnitine, okay? 1.5 grams, 1.5 grams, 1,500 milligrams, however you want to say it. That is a full dose of acetyl L-carnitine. What does acetyl L-carnitine do? Well, it's that last thing that I just talked about. It helps to transport that freed up fat into the tissues where it needs to be burned for fuel. If you have an excess fat release and there's not enough to carry it into the fat cells, it's not going to be utilized. And when you're following one of my diets, you're definitely having an excess fat being freed up from your fat cells, particularly if you're using Shred Gym, because we talk about those ingredients as well. But that's the acetyl carnitine. But don't be fooled. If you see acetyl carnitine on another fat burner, it better have at least a full gram, at least one full gram minimum. If you see, 100, 500 milligrams, 750 milligrams, not enough to do anything. Don't even bother. Don't even bother. So that's acetyl L-carnitine. Caffeine. Let's talk about caffeine. Everybody thinks that caffeine is the devil. In fact, caffeine has many, many benefits, and I mean not just performance benefits, but health benefits as well. It's been shown to help decrease cognitive decline, help reduce the risk of diabetes, other issues as well. Caffeine really, when used properly, is not the demon that everyone makes it out to be. Everybody's talking about these caffeine-free, stimulant-free fat burners. But remember, I said we want to stimulate your metabolism. Well, how do you stimulate your metabolism? Well, with a stimulant. And caffeine is one of the most studied, most safe stimulants that we know. It works. It works. Not only does it raise your metabolic rate, so you're burning more fat, not only does caffeine help reduce hunger, which was the other area that you want to work on when it comes to fat loss, but it frees up more fat from the fat cells. It actually attaches to the fat cells and increases the amount of fat that gets released from those fat cells so that they can be burned up. Now, if you do that, right, you use a supplement that has caffeine in it, frees up more fat from the fat cells. You're also using a fat burner that speeds up your metabolic rate. So now all those fat that was released, now your body needs to burn it, and now you have acetyl L-carnitine to help get that fat into those tissues where that fat can be burned away for good. That's what a fat burner needs to be. So if it's not hitting all those marks, again, your fat burner is shortchanging. So caffeine, it's going to help decrease hunger, it's going to help increase metabolic rate, and it's going to free up more fat from your fat cells. Green tea extract. Green tea, the main way that green tea extract is known to work used to be thought it was caffeine. Now, caffeine content can vary in green tea extract. What we now know is that it actually blocks an enzyme that breaks down a neurotransmitter called norepinephrine, allowing higher norepinephrine levels. Norepinephrine levels is what keeps it's basically stimulant-like activity. So it's going to increase heart rate. It's going to give you more drive, more focus. It's going to burn more calories. Really, that's what it's about. That's how green tea works. Now, new research shows that green tea helps another way with fat loss by decreasing carbohydrate absorption. It actually decreases the amount of carbs that you take, that you absorb from a meal. So if you have green tea extracts, like from Shred Gym, with your meal, you're going to absorb fewer calories from those carbohydrates. So here you are reducing calorie intake without even eating less. You can actually eat the same, but absorb less, thanks to green tea extract. And don't think that you can get the same amount of active ingredients from drinking green tea as you can from the supplement food. Research shows that the extract, green tea extract, is absorbed much better than drinking green tea. So you're far better off using a supplement form. Let's talk about cayenne pepper. Now, cayenne pepper. Cayenne has been shown, chili pepper, cayenne pepper, it's due to the active ingredient in there called capsaicin. Capsaicin has been found to reduce hunger, much like caffeine, so now you've got an additive effect from the caffeine, from the capsaicin, reduces hunger, but it also increases metabolic rate, boosting the amount of calories that you burn. You want to make sure that you have this is critical, the capsaicin amount that you're getting. You need to use a standardized form, because if not, you're definitely not getting enough to provide the right fat burning effects. I use a form that's called Capsaimax. Now, Capsaimax, what does that do? It provides a specific amount of what we call heat from cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is measured by Scoville heat units. That's how all peppers are measured, but that's the measurement of the capsaicin amount, which is also the fat burning component. Capsaimax has about 300,000 Scoville heat units, which is absolutely unheard of. And it's encapsulated, so you don't get the burn. If you can't stand spicy foods, with Capsaimax, you get the benefit of extreme capsaicin amounts, increasing metabolic rate, decreasing food intake, but without getting that burn that you get when you eat. hot peppers. So make sure that your fat burner has not only just cayenne or chili pepper or capsaicin, but the Capsimax form. It's really the only one that you can trust when it comes to capsaicin. Last, I want to talk about synephrine. Now, there's also L-tyrosine in shred gin. L-tyrosine is not critical in a fat burner. L-tyrosine works well with caffeine, which is why I have them both in there. It's a nice synergy. It gives a good, a good focus, concentration, but also enhances energy levels and even aids fat burning. But the last one I really want to talk about here is synephrine. Now, synephrine, and I have in here what's called Advantra Z. Advantra Z is a standardized form of synephrine. Synephrine comes from a fruit called Citrus aurantium. It's a specific type of citrus. And the synephrine is a stimulant that's been shown to be very safe. It doesn't raise heart rate and blood pressure like other stimulants, if you remember ephedrine back in the day. It's a very similar compound, but doesn't raise blood pressure and heart rate and have any cardiovascular issues. But I use Advantra Z. Now, 20 milligram dose works perfectly well with the tyrosine and with the caffeine in green tea, as I found. This is the perfect dose. You want to make sure you're getting at least a 20 milligram dose of Advantra Z synephrine. So really, those are in the synephrine works to not only free up fat cells, not only boost metabolic rate, but it's also been found to reduce hunger as well. So those are really those ingredients that you want to be looking for, not just because they're ingredients that you recognize. They're not buzzword ingredients. These are ingredients that we know provide a specific benefit in the body. They aid a specific pathway that aids fat loss. And when you know all the different pathways that are involved in fat oxidation or fat burning, you can use different molecules from nature, which is what we do with supplements, to enhance that fat burning pathway. And this is really what you want to be looking for. Fat burner that uses ingredients with proper doses that are going to provide these synergies that work together to aid fat loss from the get-go, from the release of the fat from the fat cell all the way to where it's carried into the mitochondria of cells and burned away for good. That fat is gone. It's not buzzwords. It's not Raspberry Keytones, because Dr. Oz said that buzzword. I've been writing about Raspberry Keytones for over a decade. They didn't work 10 years ago. They still don't work. Same thing with Garcinia. Wrote about it over 15 years ago. Still doesn't work. Don't look for buzzwords. Look for active ingredients that actually provide benefits, or go with Shred Gym and you've got the best fat burner you can buy. Stay Gym Army strong, guys.